I am starting by saying that Ken is wearing a fabulous t-shirt. Show our audience what you have on the Public Speakers Growth Hub. I love it. Can you turn around and let us see your back?
Not really.
No, you can't.
I'll take my shirt off. No, I'm just kidding. No, unfortunately,
I think it says something like speak. What does it say?
it says kick me.
Speak. I think it says something like speak because your audience needs it or something like that. This is one of our newer t-shirts in our Public Speaking Growth Hub merch store. So I love it. And Ken got this t-shirt as a gift because he was the leader of the 30-day leaderboard. And that's at the end of every month. I see who's ahead of that 30-day leaderboard, and they get a free t-shirt from the merch store. They get to pick it out. So, and we have just added some other kinds of merch. So it may expand beyond picking a t-shirt. So I love that you have that on. I'm so glad it came just in time for this video. That is amazing. So yay. Okay. All right. So here is why Ken is here today, because every Saturday I look at the 7-day leaderboard champ, and I give them this chance to come on and have an interview, talk about what they do. I provide them, in theory, some shorts created out of this so that they can use it to promote themselves. Because for me, even though they are a member of the Public Speakers Growth Hub, I am all about supporting other people and watching them thrive and succeed. It lights my fire. So that is why we are here today. And this is not Ken's first time of being a 7-day leaderboard champ. So I am thrilled to have you again to interview Ken. Ken Hyra, how are you?
I'm all right, Tracy. Thank you for. Yeah, that's cool. And yeah, it's pretty cool that the T-shirt came in today, like about an hour ago. It's like, wow, this was meant to be.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. I love it. And I actually have mine sitting in a bag. I have like this stack of packages that I haven't opened. They've just been stacking up for months. And so I don't know what some of it is. It's going to be like Christmas. And I thought
Oh,
I'd
awesome.
have some fun and yeah, I thought I'd have some fun and put my camera up and just kind of record myself opening packages and being surprised at what's in them because I don't know.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay. So, Ken, this first part is about your commercial and letting people know what you do. So, go ahead and share with us what you are up to in the school community.
In the school community, yeah. If I could talk, that'd be great. Maybe I'll just show your thing again. Here we go. It's called the speakers. What do I do? So I have a school community, and it's called the Relationship Reset Lab. And essentially, it's for people, couples, well, it's for high achieving people, entrepreneurs, individuals who are really good at doing their business, like running the show, running podcasts like this, taking care of the marketing aspect, showing up on a daily basis. And some people also have part-time and full-time jobs, and they're still doing this. And they're able to run this like their business like clockwork, like it's no problem. And then when they get home, something happens. The communication and the relationship goes out the door, and they're in maybe looping arguments about why didn't you pick up your stuff after you, or it was your turn to make dinner tonight, or the one I usually go to is a dishwasher not being loaded properly, or the dishes all over the place, like, getting into these arguments, whereas in a business it's not happening. They're taking care of the client, and they're answering problems, and they're troubleshooting. And the lab that I have is to bring that system into the relationship, similar to that in the business, right? Because why do we talk to our spouse, better half, partner terribly sometimes than we do our customers and clients? So why are we looking after our clients' needs and making sure, I better do a poll to make sure I know what they want to see coming up? And I don't do it at home. Maybe I should be doing polls at home. Hey, what do you think we should have for dinner? Like, tomorrow night. Do you want chicken, pork tenderloin, whatever, But we don't do that. It was just like, well, I thought it was your responsibility. I thought it was your responsibility, and we're essentially guessing at home, whereas at work it's a different story. So communication, and that's where I help. I help with the communication part, so relationships are running a little bit smoother. Get a system going, and it's not script. It's not scripts. Like I'm not the. I mean, there are scripts. However, I go with the nervous system first because there's a whole bunch of stuff happening in the background before somebody says something. Their facial expressions, their tone, um, their
Yeah.
past history. So that's the long version of my relationship reset lab. It's to help people in their relationships to make it run a little bit smoother.
I have to give this little confession time. So I taught public speaking. I taught public speaking and interpersonal comm for 10 years at college. And I had this habit, apparently, I didn't catch it, but I had my husband say it and one or two of the kids say it, that I would come home and I would still be in that teaching mode and I would still talk to the kids, my husband, like I was the teacher and they were the pupil. And it really was something that I wasn't even aware that I was doing until they started pointing it out. And then I thought, okay, I can kind of see that. And so that was something I definitely had to work through. And then my husband also does it because he comes home and he talks to me like I'm one of his employees.
Right,
And
right.
that does not set well with me at all. And he's actually now working remotely for the most part. He goes in periodically, but here's what irritates me. He'll have the doors shut, but I can see through them. They're clear, they're glass.
Okay.
And so I'll kind of wait to see, like, is he in a meeting? Like, I'll just kind of stand there for a second. Is he on the phone? I can't tell. And so I'll just kind of softly kind of tap, like, are you in a meeting? And he does this to me. Like, come on. I'm like, I don't know why. Tell me why, Ken. Tell me, I need to figure this out in my central nervous system. That just flies on me when he does this. Like, so that is my confession time of this is a very real example, what he and I have done to each other that talks directly about what you help people with. And so I know it's not just my husband and I that kind of fall into this routine of bringing our work self into our home self. So I really like that is what you do.
Yeah, and the example you just gave is perfect, and that's exactly well, anybody who's in kind of that role, right? Whether it's entrepreneurial or running something, it just falls back into the home because you've been doing that your whole career. The person has been doing that their whole career, and they haven't learned how not to do it. It's habit. Now it's natural. It's like, well, why wouldn't I
Right.
motion like this? Or why wouldn't I talk to you like a student? Like, what do you mean? What? What's wrong with that? What's
Yeah.
wrong with you?
Yeah.
It's not me, it's you, right? And that's the thing. But it's really cool that you guys caught it, right? So if they said,
Mhm.
hey, you're talking to us like this, and you're like, oh my God, okay, well, what do I do? Right? A lot of people don't do
Right.
that, right? They just
Mhm.
go at each other for years and years and years, and then all of
Yeah.
a sudden it's like, man, I really hate this relationship. In some cases, not all cases, right? And that's where
Right.
the communication pattern to understand what you're seeing or hearing and why is hitting you that way. Just like you said, your husband goes like this. So why is it hitting you a certain way, right? Well, uh, maybe there's something that happened in your childhood or whatever, right? And that's just a nervous
Mhm.
system trigger to go, danger. Okay, you're a jerk. Whatever goes through your mind, or you
Right.
could if he does that motion, you could even recoil, go back and say, okay, forget it. I'm not gonna, ever not gonna talk to you, and then just shut down,
Yeah.
right? And that's just based on
Right.
past experiences. So yeah,
Right.
it's
Yeah.
a pretty cool thing.
And I like that you really come at it from a central nervous system perspective, which until you and I met and I had you on my Communicate Great podcast, but I hadn't thought of it because when I was coaching people in relationship coaching or conflict management coaching, which is what I did years ago, I didn't even think about your central nervous system. And I did think about, your history and that field of experience. Everything you've gone through creates who you are today. And that definitely impacts the way you interact with people and communicate with people. But this idea of the central nervous system was something that I really hadn't paid much attention to. So I like that you bring that in. And so just maybe for the people who aren't really aware of what that means, can you explain that?
The medical way or the so you understand it way. So we have a central
Whichever way
nervous.
you want.
I didn't bring my flip chart. Anyway, we all have a nervous system, and it's been with us since we were born. And our parents had one, and their parents before them had one. So as we're growing up, we learn from our parents, or whatever environment you're in, a single parent, um, uh, foster care, whatever. As a child, you learn a certain way from those people, and it stays inside you. And those experiences create an imprint on your nervous system. And your nervous system is a great system to keep you out of danger. And for the rest of your life, however you learn, whatever you learned, eventually you react a certain way because of the past. And it's all inside of us. And you can tell your mind 6,000 million times, no, 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 or I'm going to change this, I'm going to change that. However, you have to go really deep inside to not only understand the situation that you're in that caused your reaction to step back or get angry, and then work on that imprint to let it know that, hey, that worked back when I was 6, 15, 23, whatever. And now I'm whatever age, 40, 50, 60, and I'm safe now. So you're telling your system that everything's okay. I'm an adult, and I'm going to be changing things around, and and you're going to remind me all the time to react this way. However, I have a choice to make. I can either stay with the old way or go with the new way, and which is associated with values. And that recognition or repetitiveness, I should say, is something that people really have to work on to let their nervous system know that the old pattern is there. They recognize it. However, they're choosing to go this route. But if they're in their 40s, 50s, or 60s, I mean, there's 40 years of doing the one thing. So, like when you learn to walk, baby steps, and it'll take a while. However, eventually you recognize it. I'm not saying it goes away. From what I've been reading, the studies, it doesn't seem to go away. And no matter how many times you may do a mantra or whatever, it may lessen it. However, it'll still come back the old way. And what I've found with the method I use is it's acknowledging that. It's saying to yourself, whoa, okay, yep, that's my old self. Thank you. Thanks, mind, for doing that. Thanks, nervous system. However, I'm going this route now. I'm safe now. It's okay. But thanks for the reminder. And that reminder will keep happening. And the more you do the acknowledging it and then going towards your new way of doing things, the new way will take over. However, for the rest of your life, you'll still have that it's like a little switch that you'll recognize. It's almost like in your head. It's like, whoa, that's the old me. Wait a second. I'm going this way. Because just as with anything else, a divorce, a pet passing away, initially it's a trauma. It's shocking. However, over a period of time, it gets less and less traumatic. You still have the memory, but you're choosing to go a different way. Some people don't, right? Because the situation changes and they still do things the old way. And then maybe that marriage or union or friendship fizzles out because it's like, well, nothing's changing. Well, yeah, because you have to go backwards so far to recognize your nervous system is creating this old pattern. And it's up to you to let your nervous system know that was great for when I was there. It sucked, but now I'm choosing to do something different. So that's the
Okay.
explanation.
I find that interesting. So thank you for explaining that. So, real quick, how can people work with you? I know that they can go to your community, and that's
Sure.
on the school platform. So, talk to us about your community very quickly.
Yeah, so it's new. It's like it'll be 3 months next week, I believe. Or no, this week. Yeah, this week. 3 months this week. Started in January.
Nice.
Um, and essentially, it's I have there's a step by step classroom that talks about a certain way of saying things. It's called the WIN communication pattern that kind of starts the person off that okay, this is the words I should be using instead of coming back with sarcastic answer or whatever, calling the other person names. And then it flows into different modules. I explain the processes. Like for example, what I was just talking about is the vagus nerve, the nervous system, and I explain what polyvagal theory is, um, and I also explain the acceptance commitment technique as well, and to show people from a logical way, from a theory way, what's going on. So there's those
Mm.
applications that are there. It's not detailed or anything. It's not like you're reading a resource book, or it's a simple explanation as to, well, why is this happening? How can I use it? So there are those little modules in there. So it's kind of an education part. And then if somebody wants to dive deeper, I do offer like an hour type of consultation to see, hey, where are you at in regard to your relationship? And sometimes it's just a matter of talking to the person, like this conversation, right? And they bring up something, and it's like, okay, well, maybe you could try this out, or let's role play and see how it would sound. Because sure,
Mm.
I talk about, you know, it's called win. When you do this, I feel this, and I need you to, or I need to just step back. So easy to say. However, you do it, and I'll pretend I'm the person, right? That you're trying to say something different to. It's a little bit awkward, but I do that as well.
Okay, so that answered my question, my next question. So I knew that you had your community where people
Mm.
can come in. And is the basic level free
Oh yeah,
to enter, or is it paid? Okay.
no, it's
Okay.
$200
So
a month. No, I'm just kidding. I
so you can go into Ken's. Go ahead.
so sorry. So Tracy, I should qualify this. I use humor a lot, and sometimes it may be annoying and catch people off guard. So I apologize, and that's why I sometimes laugh about. If you ask me a serious question, sometimes in my head I'm getting a cartoon picture, and I'll come out with a smile on my face, right? So I let people know this when they talk to me because I find the when it's what's the not if it's like a professional like in movies, right? So you see the people go to a therapist or whatever or counselor, and they're like, the person sits back and says, "Well, I think that the theory of," and I'm not like that, and if that's the kind of person people relate to, that's great, and I would not be the right fit, right? So I interject humor sometimes, and I sometimes cut people off because when somebody says something at that particular moment, that's important information that they need to focus on. And I let people know this in advance, though, right? So I didn't do that here, and you would never know unless I said something, right? So, anyways, yeah, there we go.
And here's one of the things I believe, because, when I help people with public speaking, I definitely have my personality, and I like to laugh and I like to have fun. And the challenges that I put into the community, hopefully they're fun, they're lighthearted, because I think you learn more when you're having fun. And I agree. If somebody is looking for somebody very serious and driven, and here's like, this is what we're going to do, and pound, 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 that's not me, and you're not going to want to work with me on your public speaking. I want to have fun with you.
Right,
And
right,
so I like that you point that out, because not everybody is our right fit client or our right fit person or our avatar or whatever you want to call it. Not everybody is, and that's okay,
that's right,
because we want to work with people that really are going to mesh with us, right? I think probably anybody in business doesn't enjoy working with somebody that is polar opposite of your personality, and then there's just issue after issue. So it's just my thinking. You like
Oh,
having fun, you like laughing, and that, people who enjoy that and being lighthearted, even though probably some of what you talk about is very serious.
right, right.
And so I'm imagining that you do have that respect when
Oh, yeah.
somebody is really going through something. I know you. I know that you are just great about it. You're just so, oh, I can't think of the word I want to use, but it's a comfortable, right? Like having you in the community, I've learned that people feel comfortable with you. So
Oh, thanks.
anyhow,
Yeah, and that's that, and
all
that,
right.
that that's that's you know that's who I am. And you're right.
Yeah.
Not everybody's going to fit. And just like my community, right? I'm not going to have 3,500 people joining my community. Probably not, because I'm not going to be a fit for 30. Well, maybe I'm underestimating
Right.
myself. No, yeah, I'm not going to be a fit for
Maybe.
everybody, and that's maybe right, and
Yeah.
that's okay, because I'm not going to. I could, if the person wants to, be have a certain pattern or this. Sure, I can accommodate for that. However,
Right.
they probably wouldn't be the best fit, but it's possible to do. But it's important that
Right.
everybody feels comfortable, and just like in the community, you have to feel comfortable whether you're commenting. And that's another thing I offer too. Like, since it's a relationship reset lab, sometimes the topics might not be appropriate for somebody to comment on, right? So I offer, hey,
Mm,
direct message me, and we can have a side conversation, because it's not something you want to
mhm.
disclose in an open community, right? So
Right.
it's
Hmm.
important to have
Yeah.
that, I think, outlet as well. And it's not like,
Yes.
yeah, and it's free. It's not like I'm going to say, well, yeah, well, for 15 minutes, I'm going to charge you like the $10. It's like, no, well, this is a serious matter you're going through. I'll take the time to help you move forward. That's
Right.
what I do, you know.
Yeah. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Okay. So one more time, what's the name of your community before we go into the next topic?
Another topic. No, it's the
No,
relationship reset lab.
Relationship Reset Lab. Okay.
Yeah.
Again, you can find that in school. So here is the next topic. You are in the Public Speakers Growth Hub for a reason. So, this is one of the times that I want people to just kind of share what they're gaining, what they're learning, why it's helping them. So this helps me help other people. So lay it on me, Ken.
Uh-oh. Let's see. This is one of the things with the public speakers hub. You have to kind of eventually think about the thing on your feed, right? So that's helpful in regard to some of the challenges you have put out there. For example, the video ones where you have a clip and you make a quick comment on it, right? So I
Yeah.
find those fun. I find those enjoyable because it helps me in regard to commenting on something quickly, just like you did here. Well, here's the second topic, and this is it. Um, which I so I can go on for hours about that because I really like that. Um, However, I find challenging the other aspect where you have a system, right? So for
Yes.
me to go through a system of my pitch, what the people I help with, and then have a conclusion of, hey, click the link. Click my link if you enjoy if this resonates with you, whatever. See, I'm stumbling now because I have a hard time doing that system. However, it's coming along better, which is why I enjoy your community, because it's practice. It's just like what I say about your nervous system, right? You can come home and your hand goes
Yeah.
up, or you take something the wrong way, and now I'm realizing, okay, what? So now I'm still organizing in my head, right? The what's my pitch? Who do I help? Like in the beginning, like I think in the first
Yeah.
podcast we had, I was like just flummoxed. I was just like, I don't know, what do I do? I don't know. Who do I help? People. Come on, what, what,
I just tell
what do I
people.
do? So with your system, it's really cool because
Yeah.
it's like, okay, here it is, and there's the middle part, and there's the end, and it makes sense, and it takes practice.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
that's the other good part, and you can practice uh, whenever you want, right? Like you're so available that you can, like, you can just toss a video up, right, and say,
Yep.
"What do you think?" And you'll reply.
Yeah.
Or you
Yeah.
won't. You say, that's crap.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. You don't say that. It's always constructive criticism, right? It's not like,
Exactly.
wow, Ken, your video really sucked. Why did you, what are you thinking? Well, it's not like that at all, right? So, yeah, I love the system, and I love those little snippets where you get to practice. And I find that
Yeah.
the snippets help me in regard to feeling comfortable on camera. And then it's the system that helps me develop my pitch naturally, right?
Mm.
Because
Yeah.
to tell you the truth, if I had it written down and I had the thing over here in the script, hi, my name's Ken, and I help entrepreneurs, and that's I could do that. I could read it, no problem, right?
Right.
But then it's a matter of, well, what happens when you take this away, and you're just quiet, right? But you're not,
I
because you learn.
I I love that you started with something I always tell people to not do. And you said, "Hi, my name is Ken, and I help people with."
Exactly, right?
because
Right.
because all of the pitch formulas that I gave you all as part of that challenge, not one of them started with, "Hi, my name is."
No.
We went right into, yeah. So everything I do, I try to give you all a framework or a formula, whatever you
Yeah.
want to call it.
Yeah.
And there's not just one, whether you're pitching yourself, whether you're creating content, whether you're doing a keynote, whether you're whatever it is, there are always different formulas or frameworks that you can choose from. And some lend themselves to certain things more readily, if that makes sense.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I like that you talked about that, because I want to equip everybody in the community to succeed. And so the challenges are for every single member. You can take them at whatever level, because I have the standard level and the premium level. The premium level, you get the workshops on Wednesday where I say you go further faster. And one of the weeks of the month, we do impromptus, which is I give you a topic. You have just a split second to think about it, and then you go. But I do it by giving you a formula, a framework. Here's what I want you to think of first, second, and third. Here's your topic, go. And the idea behind that is, when you're in real life and you get so good at this formula, you will be able to give a talk in a heartbeat, because you know this simple framework. So the structure of it. So anyhow, I like that you talked about just kind of being put on the spot, because how often are we put on the spot to talk about things, especially if we're out somewhere and somebody asks about your work, and then you kind of like, blah, blah, blah. But if you kind of have this formula down or have talked about it so many times, it's so much easier to put some sentences together that flow and make sense. So I
Exactly.
like that you talked about that.
Yep. And exactly too, like what you said, the starting point, right? So my default is still, like, it's hard for me to get away from, hi, my name's Ken, and I have the, relationship reset lab. And instead of going, I have a relationship reset lab, and I help entrepreneurs and business owners who are successful at work,
Mhm.
but then they get home and their relationship is not so good, right? So
Right.
it's almost like what I was talking about before. When you're going to react a certain way, it's that pause, and it's so quick that you want to do it one way, but it's a matter of catching yourself. And you might even
Right.
start off with, "I have the relation." It's like it's going to come out, "Hi, my name's Ken," but it's going to go, "I run the relationship reset lab," right? Because you're actually, so your brain, all the synapses and all the connections are now changing on the fly. So yeah, your system's all part and parcel of it.
I am glad you're enjoying yourself in the community, though. I love watching your comments and your posts and everything. It's always fun. I always get a chuckle. So, and you're silly and I'm silly. And it's like, yes, I've got somebody silly in the community that I can just like be
Right?
goofy with. So,
That's right. It makes it
so
funner.
anyhow, exactly. Exactly. All right, Ken, do you have anything else to let our audience know about you besides, hi, my name is Ken?
Well, it all started back in anyway, no, I don't really.
Okay.
what you see happening here is exactly what happens when you talk to me. And also, yeah, I guess one thing to emphasize is, sure, it's called the Relationship Reset Lab, and maybe people think, oh, I have to go in as a couple or with my partner. No, you know, you can just start yourself. Sometimes
Yeah.
that's where the change takes place. You make the change within yourself, and then you speak words that are different, or you come across a different way than your partner's like, huh? Why? What? Well, who's this? Like, it's like, yeah, do you want to learn how to do this? It's like, yeah, it sounds kind of cool. And then, you know, it enhances the relationship as well. So only one person has to start, really.
Right. I have to just give you a quick, and this is one of the things I tell you to not do when you're giving a talk, introduce something new at the end. I'm going to introduce something new at the end. So that reminds me, when I was teaching the interpersonal communication course, I had a student come back and he had gotten in a fight with his wife because he was we were learning this interpersonal skills, right? And so he had gone home and he tried one and she started accusing him of like, what did you do, and like, why are you being nice, and all this stuff. And I said, okay, so here's a caveat: when you are going to try a new skill that you're, whether it's a coworker or a child or a spouse or a dating partner, it doesn't matter. When you're going to try something new, you might want to let them know, like, hey, I've been learning this and I'm going to try to make some changes. Otherwise, they're going to be like, who are you? What did you do? What is going on? So, yeah, I like that you talk about that. That just kind of reminded me of that specific situation. So, I love the work that you do. It's work that I have done in the past, and I love communication. Obviously, I love communication, and what you do centers around it, but the central nervous system aspect is forefront in
Right.
your process, and I love
Right.
that. So, Ken, thank you so much for coming on, and I truly enjoy having you in the Public Speakers Growth Hub. It is so fun working with you. So, all right, everybody, go check Ken's community, and we will see you next time. Bye.
See ya.